I still love you. That's the sentence I never send. It sits behind everything else. Behind the, how have you been? Behind the, sorry, just saw this. Behind the way I don't text at all and pretend I'm busy instead of honest. I still love you, and we're not together. And somehow, both of those things are true at the same time. It's grown up, I guess. Mature love. The kind no one teaches you about when you're young and they tell you either you're with someone or you're not. Either it worked or it didn't. They don't explain this middle place, this quiet in between, still in love but living separate lives, still feeling him in your pulse but not in your arms. Nobody writes instructions for that. Some evenings, when the sun sinks low and the sky turns that tired city pink, I can feel you without even thinking of you. It's in the way my body softens for no reason, the way my voice drops when I'm alone, like it remembers the way you used to listen, how you never rushed me, how you let my words wander until they finally landed where they needed to. You always had this patience, like a warm couch at the end of a long day. I slipped into you. I rested there. And now that couch is gone. The room is empty, but my muscles still think someone's there to catch them when they fall. That's what love feels like after you've stepped away. Muscle memory. The body keeps reaching for what it learned was safe. We're not mad at each other. That's the strangest part. No slammed doors, no shattered plates, no dramatic goodbye with rain running down the car windows like some cliché movie. We were tired. Life got loud. The days kept filling up with bills and deadlines and family stuff and the version of adulthood no one posts about. We started going to bed at different times and waking up already exhausted. We cared. We really did. But love isn't always loud enough to shout over everything else. Sometimes it just sits there quietly and watches you walk in opposite directions, because that's what makes sense on paper. We said things like, I think we need space. I need to figure myself out. I don't want to hold you back. Mature lines, thoughtful lines, lines that make sense to everyone else. But no one explains how those smart decisions still hurt like hell when the lights are off and the house is quiet and your chest remembers what your mouth agreed to let go of. We talk sometimes. Little check-ins, little pieces of our lives sent through glowing screens. You tell me about a new job. I tell you about a new project. We trade jokes like old friends who were never naked in each other's honesty. We're good at that. We've always been good at that. Being fine on the surface. But underneath, I still know the sound your breathing makes when you're almost asleep. I still remember the way you reach for water when you're trying not to say what's really on your mind. You still know which look means I'm lying when I say I'm okay, and which kind of silence means I'm not. We carry that knowledge like a shared secret no one else has access to. We don't use it, we don't say it out loud, but it's there. It's always there. Some nights I imagine what it would be like if we were reckless again. If I called you instead of just thinking about calling you. If you answered on the second ring with that soft hey that always sounded like you'd been waiting for my voice all day. I picture us not talking about the weather, not talking about work, not talking about anything that makes sense. Just, I miss you. I miss you too. No games, no armor, no pretending we outgrew something that still fits in the ribcage like it was custom made. But we're older now. We know what it costs to go back. We know how easy it is to slip into old patterns, to forget the reasons we pressed pause in the first place. So instead of dialing, I sit with the wanting. I let it move through me like a tide. It rises, it aches, it fades. I breathe. I don't call. That's the maturity everyone praises. That's the discipline. No one hands out awards for how quietly you love someone from far away. But maybe they should.
You don't belong to me anymore, and I don't belong to you. But there are still parts of us that never learned that. A song comes on in a grocery store, and I feel my heart step forward, like it expects to see you in the next aisle. I hear somebody laugh in your rhythm, and my head snaps up. Before I remember, we don't share zip codes anymore. Sometimes I think about the version of us that got to stay. The one from the parallel timeline, where we had a little less fear, a little more time, a little more room to grow without growing apart. I picture Sunday mornings that kept happening. You in that old t-shirt, me in your socks. Coffee and sunlight and the kind of quiet that feels like safety, not distance. I wonder what kind of fights we would have had, how we would have learned to walk away and come back without slamming doors, how we would have aged beside each other, how our faces would have learned each new line like a poem. There's a grief for that future that never got to exist. People don't talk about that funeral.
And yet, for all the mourning, there is something strangely beautiful about this love that stays soft even after we've let go. I don't wish you hurt, not even a little. I want you rested, fed, safe. I want your mornings to feel like second chances, not like punishment. I want you laughing from your stomach the way you used to when we'd say something at the same time and pretend it meant more than good timing. I want whoever holds your face in their hands now to understand how rare that light is when you really let it out. I want them to know how gentle you can be with the things you decide to care about. Loving you from a distance has turned into this strange, quiet prayer I didn't expect to be saying. Be okay, even if it's not with me, especially if it's not with me. That's how I know this love grew up. It stopped needing to own you and just wanted you to be whole.
There are parts of me that only exist because of us. the patient piece, the one that listens a little longer than it used to, because you taught me what it feels like to be fully heard. The softer piece, the one that doesn't flinch at tenderness anymore, because you held me like the world wasn't falling apart outside that bedroom door. The braver piece, the one that says the hard thing, asks the real question, doesn't run from vulnerability, because there was a time I told you the ugliest truths about myself, and you didn't leave. We're not together, but I still carry your fingerprints on my growth. I'm different now, and some days that feels like losing you all over again, because the person you loved no longer exists exactly that way. But other days, it feels like the most romantic thing I've ever done. To take what we were, to take what we couldn't be, and build a stronger self out of all that almost.
If you asked me, do I think we'll ever find our way back? I'd have two answers. The honest one, that lives in my chest, says, God, I hope so. I imagine running into you by accident, somewhere ordinary, a bookstore, a crosswalk, a mutual friend's living room. We'd do that surprised laugh, like the universe finally pushed unpause on a scene it had been holding in its drafts. We'd catch up, careful at first, saying all the safe things before the real stuff pours through the cracks. You'd confess you still think about me sometimes, when you can't sleep. I'd confess I never fully stopped. And there, between the chipped coffee mugs or the traffic light or the awkward small talk, we'd feel it, that same familiar gravity pulling us closer, aware of how many planets we've both spun around since we let go. We'd be older now, a little more worn around the edges, but steadier. The way people get when they've fallen apart once and learned how to put themselves back together without losing all the softness. We'd have new boundaries, new wisdom, new scars. We'd stand there in that ordinary moment and decide quietly to try again, not as the kids we were, but as the grown versions we became. That's what my heart says. My mind, though, my mind knows life doesn't always loop like that. Sometimes a chapter really does end. Sometimes two people who were right for each other at one time are exactly the reason they're better for someone else later. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let the story stay beautiful where it is, instead of dragging it through a sequel it wasn't meant to have. So my other answer is this: I don't know. And for now, that has to be enough. What I do know is I love you. I loved you then. I love you now, in this distant, quiet way that doesn't knock on your door, but leaves the porch light on inside my memory. I love you in the way I wish you well, even when I'm having a bad day.
I love you in the way your name doesn't feel sharp on my tongue anymore. Just soft, like something I used to wear every day that still hangs at the back of the closet. I love you in the way I don't regret us, even knowing how it ends, because the middle was worth the ache of the after. So here I am, night after night, talking to you through ceilings and constellations and these little digital spaces where strangers listen to what my heart never got to say directly to you. I'm learning that I can miss you and still move forward. I'm learning that I can love you and still make room for whoever comes next, including the version of myself that doesn't orbit you like a moon. This is not a goodbye. How could it be when you've seeped into the architecture of who I am? But it is a kind of loosening, a hand gently letting go of what it once clung to, not in anger, not in resentment, but in trust. Trust that if we're meant to walk side by side again, life will find a way to nudge us back onto the same sidewalk. And if not, if our roads stay parallel but never cross, then thank you for the part of the journey we did share. For the nights my head fit perfectly on your shoulder. For the mornings we laughed over nothing. For the version of me who learned what it feels like to be looked at like I was home. I am still in love with you, yes, but I am also slowly learning to be in love with the woman who survived loving you and kept her heart open anyway. That, to me, is the softest, most passionate, most mature thing I've ever done. And somewhere out there, under the same tired sky, I hope some small, secret part of you can feel that, the way I still hold you with both hands, even while I practice walking forward alone.